Watching a number of developing stories very shortly, including the campaign trail from much of the ANC's leaders unfolding in different parts of the country. Kgalema Motlanthe is also hitting the campaign trail. In fact, he's giving an impromptu briefing. Let's listen in.
It's almost throughout the year, in fact, because that's why it maintains structures across the length and breadth of the country. The purpose of maintaining structures is to stay in dynamic contact with communities and constituencies. So what we are doing here today in Vuselelo, in simple language, we are here just to touch base with our support base and to ensure that we have our ducks in a row, because you need to know that your supporters are properly registered and they know where to go to cast their votes here. That's why we are here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Comrade Kgalema, any question?
Maybe before that, Comrade, we as a Gauteng leadership, we want to thank our national leadership for identifying our stalwarts to come and join the campaign. We've indicated that today we're having a busy day. We are hosting our former Deputy President and President, and we are also hosting former President Thabo Mbeki this afternoon, and our SG as well is in our province together with the DSG. So we've got the entire secretariat coming here in our province. So it's going to be a busy day. But that's how we planned it as a province. But at every phase, our campaign must take a certain shape. And the shape that we're in now is to bring our national leadership at all fronts as we prepare for Ngoba rally as well on the 25th of May. So it's a combination of various angles, and we're excited about it. Even the manner in which the electorates are responding to our message. We started sluggish, but we are quite excited now that the clarity is there, and the decisions that we have taken as the ANC and the work that we are doing in government as the ANC is starting to get traction from our voters, and we want to take advantage of that and interact with them. We are quite excited that Mkhuluwa is here, has never left, has been with us. Actually, he was saying that he has been eager to really join this machinery as quickly as possible. But we know his assignment sometimes made things difficult. But we welcome all our leaders in our province. It's not any panic button or what. It's just how we coined it, faced it, so that the campaign at various levels must have various entry points, so that it's relevant, it's interesting, and it's penetrative as well, and it can send a strong message that the African National Congress is taking voters serious, and we're bringing serious people to interact with our voters. So we'll leave it here, Comrade Dagota. If there are questions, we're not only ready to respond to them, we're also ready to ignore them.
So that I count them and we're close. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're done. Those 4 in that order. 5 in that order.
Tabiso from Eyewitness News. Mr. Motlanthe, I have to ask, there is a story on the Mail and Guardian that suggests that the candidate list for the ANC was manipulated. At the head of elections, is there any response to that story?
I don't know what you are referring to. All I know is that on the uploading of the lists, some omissions were made at the last minute, and that was raised with the Electoral Committee. And as the Electoral Committee, we worked out corrective measures which we shared with the leadership of the African National Congress, the officials to be specific. So that's a matter that's being attended to, as far as I know.
Number 2.
That's me. Former President, how do you reconcile your previous criticism of the ANC, most recent, about it not having a dominant role in the future and it being good for the ANC to lose elections? How do you reconcile it with this current campaign that you joined, which will undoubtedly benefit the ANC in the upcoming polls, especially in Gauteng here, where some may view it as a province that is for the taking for a number of political parties. So how do you reconcile the two?
Yeah. No, I think you are syllogizing, you see, in the sense that at a particular time, to be specific, in 2017, I did make the point that perhaps the ANC has lost the ability to hear the cries and criticisms of its support base, and that perhaps that message would be heard loud and clear if the ANC were to lose elections. It wasn't like a prediction, it wasn't like a wish, but a plea rather to the leadership of the ANC to open up their ears and hear the cries of the ordinary people there. That's what it was. But I see that those who syllogize, because if you syllogize, it's a way of reasoning. You say a table has 4 legs and a horse has 4 legs, therefore a table is a horse. That type of reasoning is not helpful here. Yeah. So it's always important to have in consideration the context. At what point was a certain statement made? To what end? Then that way, we are all together. There's no confusion about it here. So there is no contradiction, because even then, if you followed what I said, was that I was going to vote for the ANC.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Moloko Molota from ANC, Mr. President. If you look at what is happening around the former president of the ANC, in hindsight, when you look back and you consider the developments, is this what perhaps you could have anticipated looking at the behavior of Mr. Zuma up to now?
No, well, all of us, as individuals and as leaders and as members of organizations, write our own history by the choices that we make. So he's made his own choices, and that's his history. He's written his own history that way.
Number 4.
Former President, the ANC has previously said that there was no need to take action against the former president because he had essentially moved away from the party. How do you explain the action that it's taken now, and why has it taken so long?
Well, there are internal processes and procedures in the African National Congress based on its constitution. And so to the extent that the former president claims to remain a member of the ANC, we've had many people saying that their blood is black, green and gold, so they'll remain ANC forever. But of course, life doesn't work that way. So they make certain choices at a particular point in time. So he's also made his choices, and the organization has to ensure that it follows proper procedure, because in all cases of ill discipline, there are 2 standards to measure fairness. The first one is whether you have a substantive case against the individual. The second one is whether you followed fair procedures. So procedural fairness is one of the tests for being fair and just to whoever you have a relationship with as an organization. Yeah.
Number 5.
Mr. President, Amanda Koza from News 24. The Mail and Guardians reported that the NPA is building a pretty strong case against Minister Zizigodwa for the state capture allegations. How do you feel about these people being on the list, and what's going to be done if they are charged during now and after the elections? Are those people going to be coming back?
Well, there are clear guidelines and rules in the ANC. As you know, there's even the step-aside rule. So whoever gets charged formally, they know themselves that they have to step aside from whatever positions of responsibility that they occupy. So if the NPA is building a case against Minister Zizi Kodwa, we wait and see, because we have no way of, being privy to that information and what they do. Our role and concern as an organization is always to ensure that there is fairness and just procedures followed here.
You are the last one, Chief. We are closing now.
Thank you so much. President News. President, all political parties want the votes. And the ANC has agreed from different speakers that indeed there were challenges. Why should the ANC be given another chance?
Well, the ANC, if you consider the responsibility of leading a country, it's not just an administrative process. It also entails the process of building a united democratic nation. And so the ANC has experience in that regard. Very few of the other political parties and contestants have the same level of experience. The ANC may have missed a step here and there in its years of being a governing party. But the important point is that it has also been drawing lessons from those missteps, which means that if you were to assess all of the political parties contesting elections, the ANC is better placed to, because it knows where it went wrong, it knows its weaknesses, and therefore it would be easier for the ANC to work out the remedial steps going forward here. And that's why the electorate and the nation has got to consider those factors in giving the ANC one more chance.
Thank you very much, colleagues. We have to allow Mkulwa to go and work now.
I'm telling you. How are you? Is it over you?
All right, so there you have it, an impromptu briefing there from former ANC President Kgalema Motlanthe, who's crisscrossing the streets of Soweto as part of the ANC's attempt, if you like, to bolster their campaigning ahead of this year's crucial elections. Of course, he was going to get asked about how the party has responded to former President Jacob Zuma. The latest on that, of course, is that Zuma is being hauled before a disciplinary committee next week. He says, well, everybody has the ability to make their own choices. Zuma has done the same thing. All the ANC has to now do is ensure that they follow the correct procedural steps in essentially sanctioning the former president. He says, of course, in these kind of instances, you approach it on two fronts. The one is there a substantive case, the material merits of the case, and the other is a question of procedure. And I suppose this is worth highlighting because the ANC has been criticized for not moving fast enough to act against the former president, given his utterances that he's made, the fact that he's literally backing a political opponent ahead of the elections, and the fact that he's also mentioned that, he wouldn't support the ANC. And I suppose part of what Kgalema Motlanthe is explaining is that the party needed to make sure that they follow the right procedures. Also conceding that there have been missteps along the way, given the ANC's rule and where the country is. And he reckons that the governing party has drawn lessons from those missteps with the attempt to get your vote. From there, by the way, he's going to Ekurhuleni. It's going to be a long day for him as part of this election campaign, while at the same time, former President Thabo Mbeki will be in Soshanguve to do much of the same. We've got our full teams for you watching both former presidents throughout the course of the day.